Hi, everyone. Welcome back to VCTV, the Venture Capital TV from LATOKEN. I'm the host and moderator of the session today. My name is Sunny Mohanty, and I'm the Regional Director of LATOKEN based here in Singapore. I host, as you know, VCTV every day, Monday till Friday at 8 p.m. Singapore. So, welcome back, speakers, on another episode of VCTV. Today is again a very new topic for the new year. It's about inclusion. It's about business inclusion. It's about uh, diversity and inclusion in fundraising and investment. So yeah, today I'll be joined by three awesome women and Gary. Gary might feel a little.
I feel like a Dutch uncle or something. And Gary. Hello.
Hi, Gary. Sorry,
I'm
I was
here.
about. Today is like a panel on business inclusion. We are three women and one Gary. Okay, so basically that's the topic, people who are watching. This is a fantastic topic. So I'm going to start with our newest speaker who has just joined, Shreya from Venture Gurukul. Shreya, please introduction and background before I move to other speakers.
Hi everybody, this is Shreya Gupta from Venture Gurukul calling in from Delhi, India. And Venture Gurukul is a category one registered venture fund looking to invest in everything exciting and disruptive in technology. So we are looking for entrepreneurs, women and non-women,
Yeah.
um, colored and uncolored as well, for anybody who is digitally transforming everyday economy, transactions, and everything. We are hoping to enter in early stage, pre-series A and series A. And in the next quarter, I think we are looking to start deploying our capital. So entrepreneurs out there living and breathing impact, living and breathing inclusion are more than welcome to give us a shout out and reach to us with your ideas. And a little bit about myself. I have studied in the UK, just got back about 10 days before the COVID outbreak happened and everybody was locked down from London. And yeah, and I work here with my fabulous boss, Miss Natasha Berry. And I'm really proud to say today that we are a female-led team. Both of us are taking the mandate ahead as of now and looking to even recruit intelligent and exciting women to join our team as analysts. So anybody there looking to enter in the VC fund, you are more than welcome to give us a shout out. And thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely, Shreya. And Natasha Bailey is a good boss and a good friend.
Absolutely. An amazing mentor.
Absolutely, I can tell that. Thank you so much and welcome to VCTV, Shreya from Venture Gurukul. And I love the name as well.
Thank you.
Next time, my friend Vandana. Hi, Vandana. Welcome back on BCTV. How are you today?
Yeah, hi Sony. Thank you. I'm doing really good. And first of all, hi to all of you here. And my deepest gratitude to you and Carol, always energetic and happening and bringing up the whole ecosystem on this one platform. This is Vanna Tolani from India, Gurgaon. My work experience was 15 years in Jakarta and Singapore. I had my own family office fund there. Came back to India 6 years back. Did some investments, went back to advisory. My company name is Convanto. We are sector agnostic. We are global. We are in all geographies. The ticket sizes that we do are typically from $1 million to $25 million. And we prefer tech more than anything else. And of course, we have a diversified portfolio.
Fantastic. I like that word global. Thank you
Yeah.
and welcome back, Vandana. Today, obviously, I remember you the last panel, 3-1, but today we have Gary. Thank you and welcome back on BCTV. Last but not least, while Telly is on her way, Gary Fowler. Hi, Gary. Welcome back on BCTV.
Yay! No, it's great to be here. So it's great to
Oh my
be
God.
here, and I'm
Fantastic.
fantastic. I'm just fantastic. So my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been involved in starting 17 companies, 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software. We did a NASDAQ IPO and then sold to Salesforce. It was sold for 1.35 billion about 19 months ago. I also am the co-founder of Viva, which is one of the top AI companies globally right now. I started 5 years ago with a billionaire from Russia, David Yang. It's located in Silicon Valley. I am the CEO, co-founder, president of GSD, Get Shit Done Venture Studios. We're a premier AI venture studio and now quantum, and we curate companies from around the world and help them to go global using Silicon Valley as support. I write a lot. I just published an article in Russian about 20 minutes ago. I've written 108 articles now in the last year. And I'm writing, I guess, 3 to 5 a week. I stepped it up a bit. So anyhow, that's what I like. And I'm just a country boy from Pennsylvania. So it's nice to be here with all these wonderful ladies and looking forward to the topic today.
Awesome. Exactly. Thank you so much, Gary, for that introduction. Always pleasure to have you on our shows. Today's topic is something very close to my heart because of the inclusion factor. When it comes to inclusion, be it in entrepreneurship, be it in investing, be it anywhere in the part of the society, something that I'm always looking forward to know more from the experts. Today, we are talking about venture capital. We're talking about investments. We're talking about startups and entrepreneurs. So venture capital funding is the future. It's a funding, venture capitalists are funding the future. The decisions made by VCs filter through the whole community. Institutional investors have a responsibility to ensure the right decisions are being made by creating an industry free from bias. So they say you can't be what you can't see. Exactly. So that's the theme of the topic today. It's about inclusion. It's about diversity. So my first question would be to Vandana to open up the floor about sharing what's about how do you see as business inclusion, and what do you see has changed over the years, and specifically how COVID, the pandemic, taught us a lesson last year, 2020, that is very much important to have inclusivity when it comes to race, gender, in all spheres of the society. And venture capital is no different. Over to you, Vandana.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Sonny, for this. So, Sundar Pichai once said, a diverse mix of voices leads to better discussions, decisions, and outcomes for everyone. Sadly, even in the countries that are thought to be developed, like the US, the percentage of women in the finance industry is less than a quarter. So you can only imagine how grave this issue is in the third world countries like India. So, in my opinion, bias within the VC industry is preventing funds from being allocated to the best investment opportunities. In fact, according to a study in venture capitalists, only 7% of the people are on decision making teams are women. That having been said, if we want both better VC outcomes and more gender balance in entrepreneurship, we need to root out the bias hampering ventures at the earlier stages, and not just gender bias, since there is evidence that bias is even not only for gender, it's for ethnicity, it's for making firms less successful overall. So this is my opening remarks for today. It all begins from home, to be honest. The way we are conditioned. If we didn't have the blue for the boys and the pink for the girls, and the Barbies only for the girls and the soccer balls only for the boys, if we were not conditioned since childhood for that, there would have been a great difference. So I think that's what I mean.
Yeah, thank you very much for those opening remarks, and agree to that, blue and the pink. Shreya, this is the first time on VCTV Asia episode of with me. So let's start with the opening remarks, because you are a woman-led venture fund. So let's start with the opening remarks with you, please. Thank you.
As we know that I'm sitting here in India, and we do have a lot of gender disparity from the society that I have been brought up in. But I would like to say that I think the millennials, and I think we are undergoing a change. Yes, this change is much needed, but much slower than expected. But I would like to believe that the society is changing. And And now I feel more and more women are joining the workforce from like where back in 2015, when I started off, there were about less than 20% of women in India that were part of the workforce. And now when I'm here in 2020, post the pandemic, we are looking at not major flip, but it is touching around a good 30%. So that is kind of empowering. That gives me faith that yes, more and more of us are joining. I have female, like I have female colleagues that have, taken leaps and bounds in their careers in finance, in wealth management. And I come from a family where we are three sisters. So, and all three of us are doing fairly well for ourselves. And, that's the kind of environment and that's the kind of society we would like to inculcate. And so that the future is much more brighter for future women entrepreneurs for sure. And especially in COVID times, I believe a lot of my young couple friends have shown that their unpaid care and home services have now been appreciated when their husbands or their fathers have been home. And I think that is the brighter side of the pandemic. Your household chores and your care for your children, siblings, parents has kind of put our mothers, sisters, wives at a good pedestal and at a negotiating position, I'd like to say. And when it comes to business, because so much of this pandemic was surrounded with, focusing on bringing work home, bringing everybody home, staying inside, that has led to the women who run these homes. People have now realized how important a woman is, even at work and even at home. So I believe that this pandemic will have a brighter future for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good points. Like, this pandemic actually has taught many of us a good lesson. Besides the pandemic, what the destruction it did and the deaths and everything else, but it definitely has taught the entire nation a good lesson, as you rightly said. Thank you so much, Shreya, for those opening remarks. Next, I have Gary. Hi, Gary. Let's start with you with the opening remarks about business inclusion in investment and also in startups.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the world has fundamentally changed over the last year. Let's just review what's happened. So, 1 year ago, there were about 30 million users on Zoom. Today, there are about 400 million active users. Nikola Tesla talked about the democratization of opportunity at the turn of the 19th century. And I believe that's really happened today. We fundamentally changed. Think about how we're right now today on VCTV. We're reaching out. Today, I'm down in Palm Beach in Florida, India, Singapore, all over the world. At any point in time, we can connect with people, which is a lot different than the Spanish flu of 1918. What does that really do? It means that we can bring opportunities to places like Africa. I work in Australia, Northern Africa, Europe, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, all over the United States. I've got companies down in the South America. So we've really democratized opportunities. The key is we need to all embrace this change because as you have mandates as a venture fund to be able to deploy capital, now it's a lot different. It's not about those in-person meetings that we could have a year ago, a year and a half ago. It's about trust and building that trust. So on one side, I have that. On the other side, we're building an impact fund. When I was in Russia, and I spent almost 14 years in Russia, one of the things we did is we actually supported female entrepreneurs and out of our pockets paid for half the class to be female entrepreneurs. So, and at the time they said an American couldn't be in Russia and do startups. Who are you? What three-letter agency are you from? I mean, all kinds of stuff, but we did it and successfully did it. So I started the first accelerator in Russia and a #1 private corporate accelerator. So it means that you can do it. And what has changed? Those female entrepreneurs that came out have really changed the world and have some incredible companies in Russia. In fact, they were some of the most successful entrepreneurs. So with the Black community, same thing. 12 years ago, I started to focus on with a Black actor friend of mine is why aren't there more Black CEOs of companies? Women, guys, I mean, why? And my friend told me, who works for Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, said, because we don't have the role models. I said, well, okay, let's, what do we need to do? Let's work it out. So we met with the mayor of Atlanta, Kasim Reed, and I put one of the board members of the NAACP. If you know that, it's a top Black group in the United States. They're on our board. And I said, well, geez, if a country boy, I'm a country boy from Pennsylvania, literally grew up inside of a mountain. So, we're simple. If we see something with horns and it's black and white in the field, it's probably a cow, right? If we see something that's crowing, it's got to be a chicken, simple stuff. So we did it. And each one of us can make a difference. It's a matter of wanting to make that difference in whatever way, shape, or form. Is it easy? No. Does it have a big impact on making the humanity better? Yes. So whatever that is, if impact investing is on sustainability, if impact investing is on racial equality, if impact investing is bringing people that would have disadvantaged opportunities from, places in Africa where they don't have access and bringing them out. I mean, that's why I started GSD. Exactly that is to take companies that are incredible companies and bring them out to the world, right? This is like simple stuff. You find a company in Africa, Silicon Valley is still the epicenter of technology in terms of venture capital. A lot of venture capital is there, whether it's from India, I've raised money from Russia, India, China, Europe in one place. So using that, keeping the jobs wherever they are, bringing it out, whether it's an IPO on NASDAQ or some other liquidity event. But this is simple stuff, right?
Yes.
Now we have a medium to be able to do that, which we did not have we didn't use a year and a half ago. We had it, but we just didn't use it. So now the world has changed.
Great opening remarks, Gary, and thank you so much for sharing those insights. And next I have Telly. Telly, are you there? Okay, so Telly is going to take 5 more minutes. So while waiting for Telly, I have a question for Vandana maybe. Vandana, okay, so we talk about inclusion, diversity many times. Be it startups, be it enterprises, there's always a discussion that goes on simultaneously about inclusion. But when it comes to reality, being included, when I mean included decision-making roles, C-level, CXO positions, do you think, coming from, obviously your investments are global, but coming from an India perspective, when you invest into a startup, do you look primarily for a startup which has do you make any decisions based on who the founding members are in terms of gender, or what are your parameters when you do that decision? And coming from India, how is the scene like in India? Like what happens in India? If you can share with the audience.
Yeah. So, so the key to startup success is diversity. So when I look at it, startups, I don't usually, look at what gender it is, of course, but we look into the founder's background in the sense that how talented they are, what technology that they are bringing, what is their education background. These are the factors that we look upon. But whether they are a male or a female is really not, we really don't look into that as a factor to pick up a startup. So if I have to pick up a startup, I would definitely look at the founder's background. What is the technology that they are building up? And of course, what is the revenue that the company has? But, to go back again to the inclusion, the key to startup success is diversity. This is because chances are that any company's customer base is gender diverse. Women make about 75% of consumer purchasing decisions, and about 40% of the employees who make enterprise purchasing decisions are women. Companies that can see the world through their customers' eyes and build the right product for them are more likely to succeed. And having a leadership team that is reflective of the background of customers is a powerful mechanism to ensure good decisions. Additionally, research on effective decision-making cultures show that teams that are proactively fight groupthink and conformity are more successful. So I think this is what my take is here.
Right. Thank you so much, Vandana. Coming to Shreya, a little different because the reason I asked you that question because Shreya is very proud to be representing a female-only led sort of venture capital firm. So, Shreya, first of all, I would like to know why do you feel that? I mean, obviously, you're proud to be a part of a great team. Besides that, what is that other thing that makes you, really proud of being such a female-led team? And what difference does it bring when you have all the female as in the founding members of a venture capital firm, and what difference does it bring or make to the society? Shreya, over to you.
So, before going to the society, I would like to go on how it kind of makes our role more prudent with the startups. So, the whole idea of a venture capital fund is to, fund a startup and help them incubate and, get their go-to-market strategy. So when it is of, and when it is a female, like when I am right now, I am also talking to startups. And
Yeah.
because I'm a woman, more than likely all of these direct to consumer brands that I'm talking to, I am their target market. Yeah, because as Vanna just said, that 75% of the women are the ones who
Yes.
make purchasing decisions. Yeah, so for me it becomes more easier to post out questions, and then if we do choose to fund a particular startup, it becomes easier for us to increase their operational capabilities, to be able to increase their target market, to see whether or not they are actually their product fit works, right? Because then if if your decision making setup or your decision making team has, as Vanna said, that diverse target market situation, then it's easier for you to gain more traction. It's easier for you to build those revenue numbers and get that GMV and get more funding. uh, so I feel being on a completely women's team makes us more gender neutral, because yeah, I might connect with a female entrepreneur much, like I might connect to her on a different level, but I will not be I will not judge a female entrepreneur on her on her just basic, oh, where is she at life, does she want to take a break, does she like all of
Yes.
those parameters apparently matter. But if a male entrepreneur had knocked our door, nobody asks him, are you planning to have a child in the next 2 years? That kind of conversation. But because we don't have that conversation amongst ourselves and we are
Yes.
not thinking like that, so for startups, that's how it works. And when it comes to the society, it's the same thing. You resonate with what you invest, like investing with women entrepreneur, more than likely it is somewhere, even if the startup itself or the business itself might not be socially impactful, but empowering women, empowering those who are underprivileged, not just talking about women now, people who don't have access. A small startup we recently knocked our door, coming in from a really small town in Uttar Pradesh, trying to, empower very small silk traders. And we were more than happy to, give him his time, give him his footage. And that's the kind of impact, because, you eventually that's what a VC fund is supposed to do. It is supposed to leave a lasting impact on the society, empowering women, empowering the underprivileged. And I feel, being from the team that we are from, and the backgrounds that we have had, like I've had a lot of charitable background and philanthropic background because of my schooling, and that's the kind of team we are, and that's the kind of impact we are hoping to leave.
Great opening, great remarks as well, Shreya. Thank you for sharing that. It's not about only women; it's about underprivileged section of the
Absolutely.
society as well. It could be entrepreneur and founder. Uh, Telly, are we ready? I don't know. Okay. So, Gary, so what are the challenges faced by startups, entrepreneurs in countries like Latin America, Africa, and how do you help go global?
I mean, the situation is the challenges are the challenges that many of the startups, and I've had thousands of startups come through my accelerator. So when you think about it, it's part of the challenge is a lot of times of their technical founders, what do? They actually overdevelop the product. That means they don't listen to the customer. They don't do customer discovery and they don't validate what the customer needs. So they make a product that they believe in their own minds is a great product, which it may be for them, but it's not something that people want to buy. So first is you need to go out and do your customer discovery to make sure people want to buy that product. So I look at it as there's really three levels of a startup. You know, startup 1.0 is acceleration, getting your MVP and actually getting a potential first pilot or first customer. That's door number one. Door number two is regional dominance. So if I'm in a country like Singapore or India, I actually dominate that market. I've got sales, I've got revenue coming, and I feel pretty sure that this is a company that can do something on a global basis. But then the magic, right? The next magic and the next hurdle is going global. How do I go global? Each one of them, especially now with the pandemic in full swing, is trust, right? So if you're going to go out and invest in a company, Vandana, if you look at investing, you need to have trust. You need to know who that person is. You need to have references, personal references. Used to be in Silicon Valley, I would actually go down in Palo Alto near Stanford, and we would have breakfast at Hobie's. And you would sit down, and that's how you got to meet the people. You would sit down, talk. Sand Hill Road is 5 minutes from my office. So I would meet them, sometimes in Palo Alto, sometimes at Hobie's, but that's where the deals were done. And it's all done by a relationship reference network. By that, I mean, who do you know? How many successes have you had? Did you go to places like Stanford University or IIT and have those kind of contacts? And um, and that's how it works. It's really this inner circle of contacts. It's not about if you go out to most of the VCs in Silicon Valley today and send them an unsolicited PowerPoint presentation deck, they rarely look at it. Rarely, right? It's when you have that personal reference is when they look at it. So that's why the situation about going global, and that's one of the reasons we established GSD. And I'm also, as on one side, I'm an investor. On the other side, I'm an entrepreneur and curator. Because the challenge is, what happens if I have a company from Africa, for instance, and I want to go global? What are the things? Well, a lot of times you have age under 30 employees. Well, so, you're in South Africa, you want to go global. What kind of contacts would you have on a global basis to do that? Who knows you? Have you written? Do you write a lot? Are you on social media? What have you done? Well, many times, not a lot. So what we said is there's really three pieces to the startup. What do you need? You need intergenerational teams. That means you need the people that have some of the gray hair and experience. You need the 40, 50 year olds on the team. Why? Because they have the contact and people trust them and they know how to do business. Two is you need culturally diverse. Why? Because that really breeds a better team, a stronger team. A culturally diverse team, all genders, ages, etc. You just need a wide-reaching team. And the third situation is you need to make sure that you've got that passion and optimism to move forward, and you're decentralized. So by decentralized, so if you got your R&D work in India and Bangalore, for instance, you want to make sure, okay, that's great. You don't need to relocate those resources. What you want to do is you want to have operational expertise to be able to help that company grow. And so what we do is we set up companies in Delaware with an office in Silicon Valley. It's, again, keep it simple, right? People know us for artificial intelligence. We're pretty well known on that side. So if we come in and take an executive chairman role in the company, a partner will take like a COO role. If it's a security company, I'll bring the former chief security officer at Apple, Rick Orloff, or Don Swan, the former regional COO of Walmart. It's depending on the company. We got 100 people, 100 friends like that want to get involved. It changes everything. because instantly you have the credibility and the success. So the thing is now with this, we're still in the midst of this pandemic. In Silicon Valley today, everything's locked down. And again, we laugh about it. You can't get the toilet paper again. So we got a toilet paper problem one more time, right? We have quantum computers, but no toilet paper. Does
No
that
toilet paper.
what's wrong with that picture, right? Anyhow, that's that's where it is. And as we've evolved through this digital transformation, we need to understand on one side, we can do a lot of business, online, just as we're doing here today for visibility. On their other side, you need to have access to those folks, and they need to know who you are. And it takes
Right.
time to be able to build that, and it takes success to be able to assure the trust. And that's really
Right.
where it comes in. And it works. It doesn't matter if you're from Russia, Africa, Singapore, India. It doesn't really matter. It's the same kind of model. And of course, you got to refine the model. So if you come in with some type of semi-supervised AI and you need to refine it a bit, sure. You need to do your customer development. You need to have partnerships put in place to be able to help that company grow. And of course, you need sales.
Absolutely. Sales is very important as well. And Gary rightly said. Thank you so much, Gary. Very, very good insights for our listeners and entrepreneurs. Next, I have Telly, who's finally back online. Hi,
Thank you.
Telly. How are
Hi,
you today? How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great this morning. Hi,
Quick
good evening.
introduction and background, please, before we go into the question.
Okay, hi, my name is Telionu. I live in the lovely island of St. Kitts and Nevis. That's in the Caribbean. I am the head of governance and execution for the Bantu Blockchain Foundation. I'm also a co-founder for an entity called Beyond Capital Markets, where we focus on financial market infrastructure, digital financial market infrastructure. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a number of different businesses. I'm also a founder for a 20-year-old consulting firm, strategy consulting firm, where we also have a foundation, and we cover, incubation and support startups and ecosystem building. Just
Right.
to name. Mhm.
Welcome, Telly. Just a quick question. I remember when you were young, you were born in Kenya, if I'm not
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Sorry, yes, and you then your parents migrated to Caribbean. So, as an investor and an entrepreneur yourself, what kind of challenges have you faced that you can share with your audience today?
I think in working with a lot of startups, for me, I'm cosmopolitan because I've had the privilege of having such a diverse background, being born in one region, being traveled because my parents were diplomats. So not only, we just didn't move to the Caribbean, we've lived in different countries, even had the privilege of being in Asia for a while in China. So I think I have a greater appreciation for intercultural collaboration. So what I see in working with some startups, because they don't have that plethora of experience in working with others, especially in this collaborative space, in others with different skill sets, they tend to be a little bit linear in their focus and in their execution. So I definitely agree. Diversity definitely brings about and enhances that business model innovation. Especially in our team, if I use the example of the Bantu Blockchain Foundation, it's an African-led blockchain. But however, you're talking about a team that is distributed across many different continents. I'm the only one in the Caribbean. You have a number in Canada, North America, in Africa, in many countries in Africa, and we're all working together, thank God, because this
Yeah.
digital space, everyone's working around the clock virtually. So I think definitely we are in the age where not only are we looking at digital transformation, but we're also looking at a greater collaboration amongst people. So diversity is very key. I mean, there are many examples about diversity. Not only is it cultural diversity and experiential diversity, but also when you're looking at gender diversity, it's also key. I'm female. I look at things from a very different lens, you know. So what I bring to my team is quite it's a quite varied experience as well, coming from not just a gender perspective, but also other perspectives as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Telly. And good to know that you've been in all over the world, like including China as well.
And the UK, I lived
And the
in
UK. Oh my
yeah,
God, which country you haven't been to yet then?
I'll say Australia.
Australia is the next one. Okay, we know that now. Thank you. Shreya, coming over to you, just very sticking to the subject, the topic of today, which is about inclusion, could be gender, race, and underprivileged as well. So, what recent investments that you made, or investments that you made into 2020 that were taking these factors into consideration?
So we haven't actually made investments in 2020 because our first close was kind of postponed. But while I was onboarded in 2020, the investments that we were looking for were the ones that were making digital transformation. And it was more to the fact that getting access to people. Now, by getting access, we were looking at startups that are bringing education to everybody, increasing our edtech penetration. Like, yes, right now India's edtech market is being led by Byju's, and is at $7 billion and all of that. But when you come and see, the edtech penetration in India is less than 30%. In fact, I think it's even low 20%. That's the kind of impact, that's the kind of inclusion that you want to do. You want to bring entrepreneurs on the table that are ready to digress, or not even digress, are ready to ignore factors like caste, creed, social status, underprivilegedness, to bring education, to bring awareness and access to people. Like, we would love to have a conversation like with an entrepreneur who is ready to probably underprice his or her product, especially an education one, or especially that brings access to e-commerce to tier 3 and below cities in India, and are more than likely to make a socio-economic impact rather than just a pure financial impact. So, especially with COVID and especially with the whole process of 2020, I think these are the investments that we are looking, that entrepreneurs themselves are ignoring these gender, caste, creed, color biases and location biases. Not necessarily does it have to be that, yeah, we are sitting in a cosmopolitan city like Delhi and not thinking about a very small town somewhere in the midst of Haryana. I am a girl sitting here waiting for access in Delhi, and so is probably another girl, waiting for access there. So that's the kind of investments we are hoping to make, and yeah, that's the inclusion we are hoping to have in our portfolio.
Very, very good insights, Shreya, and very good thought, honestly, because everybody as an entrepreneur, be it in a cosmopolitan country, state like Delhi, or like a small state or remote state in Haryana, every entrepreneur thinks the same way and they need the same kind of access. I mean, very good points. Thank you, Shreya, for that, those points. Vandana, so sticking to this topic today, so any investments, I mean, obviously you've signed NDA, we know, taking names, any investment that you made, particularly, considering this subject of inclusion in your mind?
Not really, Sonny. We didn't make any impact investments. We also didn't have any these factors in the mind when we pick up a deal. But this topic has brought in that concern to me that we need to look at it. But we are already a global company. We look into all kinds of deals coming from Africa, UK, Dubai, Poland, Israel. So we are already diversified that way, and we don't really have any, gender preferences as such. We look at the talents, we look at the technology, we look at the education. Of course, Gary did mention, yes, we also look at the kind of relationships we have. this industry is also based on the kind of relationships we have. So if we have a good relationship around the world, the work gets done faster. That's true. But then there are other factors also that we look into. So in particular, we have done deals in fintech which cater to rural areas. We have looked up deals in the drone space that throws seeds to the farmers, those kind of deal, robotic deals that clean sewages, etc. We have looked up at those deals, but not really made investments in this kind of space. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing those as well, Vandana. I have Amit, my colleague and India country manager, LATOKEN, who's got a question for. Hi, Amit. You want to say hi to our audience?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Amit Das, and I work here at LATOKEN. I will be co-moderating this show with Soni Mohanty. So yes, I have a question to all of my panel. So how important is exit strategy when you are choosing to fund a startup? Because a lot of startups are in a fragile state, whether they get successful or not, even if they have a great idea and a great team. So I just want to know your thoughts, because this kind of things creates awareness between different startups, and they will well ahead plan beforehand, before reaching out to you guys, so that
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Amit. And let's take this from Gary. How important is exit strategy while funding a startup?
It's all about the exit, right? I mean, it's all about what you're going to get on the end. And so, liquidation preferences, how that particular investor is going to be treated. I mean, it's absolutely key. So what do you look at? You look for fast growth companies that can really dominate a space and, could potentially be acquired or do an IPO, as I've done on NASDAQ before. So, I mean, that's really what you're all about. It's what's the real value of the company. So if you don't have any exit strategy, what's the value going to be? It's just about creating a job. That's not interesting to investors, right?
Right.
So
So it's very important.
It's probably the most important. I mean, its team is critically important, but what am I going to get out of it is, what are they looking at? They won't invest unless they think they can get something out of it.
Exactly. Thank you, Gary. Anybody else would like to answer this or? Okay, great. So coming to Telly with the topic itself, any investments that were made, keeping inclusion in mind, Telly?
Not this year. For this year, there's some plans for some very inclusive. In the past, yes, we have. We factored in inclusion from the perspective of startups that are focused in the area of clean tech, in the area of ag tech, especially in ag tech. They tend to be, for the large part, excluded because a lot of people just don't understand how, agriculture and ag tech works. We've also looked at inclusion from the perspective of, I would say, underserved countries, underserved regions. So regions such as in Africa and the Caribbean, even in the Pacific Islands, these are underserved regions that we're looking at as well. Women, for sure, is something that is near and dear. And women, diverse women or women of color, you should say, are also a big area. One of the big challenges women have in terms of raising financing is, I guess, people who have the allocators are not women. So, of course, one of the big things is to create programs and design programs and solutions where more women of color are put on the table so that we can actually create that pipeline. It's just a natural thing. People only invest with people they know or people that look like them. So naturally, the numbers and the statistics definitely show that it's really a challenge for women to get financing. So also creating new strategies and programs. I mean, a hedge fund, teach a woman how to set up her own hedge fund and make her own money. So those are some of the strategies we're looking at deploying for 2021 to empower women in this space.
Excellent, excellent. Very good insights, Telly. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I just want to take closing remarks from you and consist of two questions, closing remarks on the topic itself, and 2020's best VCTV moments, and what exactly you want to look forward to 2021 in terms of VCTV? Like, what, obviously we have seen 2020 VCTV and everybody loved it. But 2021, we like to bring in more to our audience, to our speakers. So I like to know each and everyone's point of view. I'll start with Shreya, maybe closing remarks, best VCTV 2020 moments, and looking forward to 2021.
My best VCTV moments have been following Gary. So Gary is my leading medium notification. Like that, all his articles. I think he's running in like triple digits. So all his articles are my top notification, and because of his time zone being in LA and us being in India, like my day ends and begins with a notification of something he's published. And obviously he is an amazing co-panelist. He was also there on my first VCTV panel, and it was amazing. He incited me with his farm boy stories and made me realize that I need to go back to the villages and check out one of the cattle to figure out whether ours have horns or not. So that was that. And it's been fun being on VCTV, and I was an avid attendee while my boss was on the panel as well. And it's always insightful. It always gives me an introduction and a global perspective as to what other VCs and other investors are doing there and what kind of startups they are being exposed to. Because with this pandemic, we know that all of us are looking for global access. Yeah, we may have a certain region that we are looking at or we are good at, but eventually it does come down to having global access, bringing on startups from other countries to India, taking Indian ones to the globe. So yeah, and my closing remarks on inclusion would be, this year has taught us that we have to be inclusive of caste, color, creed. America has seen its first woman of color president elect. So, this is the time. And given that Ellie was saying that she hasn't been to Australia, it is going to be the safest for you to be there right now. And probably because of their women in leadership. Gary doesn't seem very happy with this remark, but never mind that. And obviously, looking beyond somebody's color and just looking at what talents they bring to the table, that is what real inclusion means. Ignoring somebody's facade or ignoring somebody's looks and investing in their idea is what inclusivity in investment and fundraising should be all about. And for 2021 on VCTV, I'm looking for more interesting panels, and I'm more than happy to sign up for all the Gary panels. Although I might not get sleep because of it, but I'm more than happy to do that. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Shreya. I don't know if Gary has listened to whatever you said. Any comments, Gary?
I'm not worthy. I don't know what to say. I mean, I thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. For me, it's also insightful to get, all the feedback and your ideas and dreams, and it's refreshing.
Thank you so much. Coming next to Vandana. Vandana, again, closing remarks, 2020, and looking forward to 2021.
Yeah, thank you, Soni. So my closing remarks for this topic is, like I mentioned earlier, in America, which is thought to be a country that is generally more open-minded than India, the percentage of women in the finance industry was less than a quarter. So you can imagine how bad is the situation in other countries. This should be obviously a concern, because at the end of the day, women help lift up economies and should definitely be given more opportunities to work in this industry. A lot more of them are held back by their families. They are told they aren't allowed to work after their marriage. So the attitude needs to change. And another reason that they aren't given many opportunities is that women or females aren't really considered business savvy. People don't believe that they are capable of running a business as a man is. So, to me, the ideal situation would be better education for women who want to get into these sort of businesses, as well as more support and opportunities provided to them. So, this way, we would have more success in, uplifting the women around us. And of course, like Shreya mentioned, irrespective of the color, irrespective of their ethnicity, anybody and anyone can approach us. We are global here. So, coming up to the best VCTV moments, each and every moment is better than the other. And of course, my first talk on deep tech is very close to my heart, where we were all three women, and that was the best one I've had. And my deepest, gratitude to Sonny, you especially, and Carol. You've always been there, and you're connecting the dots all over the world, so creating a global platform. And for 2021, I'm just hoping that more and more people avail this platform and, join us, and we have more audience coming in to take such insights from especially seniors like Gary, and who are so energetic always. And sometimes, like today, I was quite a bit confused when in the beginning I saw that there was only Karthik, me, and Gary. And I'm like, there are these two energetic people, and like, what am I going to say, like, so so until a point when you said that, okay, there's somebody else also coming in, I was like, okay, now there's peace.
Don't worry, I'll never make you uncomfortable. But having said that, Gary and Karthik are two very good people to learn from.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
definitely, but they are so highly energetic that, if I'm put in a panel with them and it's only me, I'm like confused, like,
No worries, no worries. Thank you, Vandana, with your closing remarks. Really appreciate your honest comments. Thank you so much. Next up, Telly, over to you with the closing remarks. And again,
I don't know what to say. I have to agree. Gary is really a powerhouse. And I really do enjoy, having a lot of panels with Gary. I think from Gary, it's I got to appreciate AI more and really apply it and see how important it is. I had been focused on many other different parts of the infrastructure, and AI was always like, yeah, but then now I recognize its potential and importance. So thank you, Gary, for making me a believer. Uh, and actually, when we're talking about this topic, I think AI can do fantastic wonders in terms of mitigating the physical aspects of diversity that we encounter when it comes to caste, creed, color, and that sort of thing. If we're really looking at identifying talents and really applying AI to focus on competencies, skill sets that you need in terms of recruitment, I think this is great. There is a company based in Singapore called AI Sourcing, and this is what they're actually doing. So we actually struck up a partnership, finalizing a partnership this year. And they're leveraging AI in order to facilitate sourcing for talents for large corporations and financial institutions. And using their technology, they're able to actually encourage and increase the recruitment of people who are otherwise excluded. So this is something I'm, very near and dear to my heart. Best moments on VCTV, there've just been too many. I've gotten to meet fantastic hosts like yourself, Sunny, like Terrence. Oh, Kyle is like awesome during the day. And then also for me, it's because of the time zone difference. Now, because of VCTV, I wake up much earlier. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have to add something, Telly. Besides crypto and blockchain, I think because of Gary, I've started reading about AI and machine learning a lot more than I did before.
Yes,
Gary, again, we've been like, it's like
exactly.
I don't know what to say. I'm lost of speech, lost of words. So Gary, over to you
It's
with
a
the closing
Gary
remarks.
Fest or something, and I don't deserve it. It's really odd.
Gary's a
I feel
star.
like I'm in a movie, a weird movie. You know what I mean?
Gary's a celeb now. Yes, and then the relationships. I would say the it is a platform, not just for connecting. I mean, all the different panelists you bring on board. I mean, we're actually building relationships in a way that you would never have foreseen before. Like I remember, when you're looking at fundraising, you have to have those face-to-face meetings. We don't have that anymore, but now you have this lovely platform where you can meet and connect and build relationships with your co-panelists as well as other people that are seeing this. So this is an amazing platform for fostering and driving the digital economy. So thank you, VCTV.
Thank you, Telly, for those closing remarks. Next, I have Gary, please.
Yeah, no, I think thank you for all the kind words. It just it's amazing to me. This is we're really at the dawn of an incredible era. Humanity's changing. This is the beginning of the 19th century. I can liken it to that, and electricity's been discovered. And so look at what happened over the next 30 years. Well, if we look at artificial intelligence and where our lives going, that's exactly what's happening now. I'm on panels in Europe, drug discovery and artificial intelligence. Think about what happened. The coronavirus vaccine was developed, Pfizer developed it with IBM Watson, right? So they didn't have the bench time, they were doing modeling. Our lives are going to change. Each one of you in the panel are going to live a lot longer, than when I grew up as a child, right? Your average age could be over 100 years old easily, right? So this is an incredible time. Think about space. Think about there's 6 billion Earth-like planets just in the Milky Way, 200 trillion galaxies in the universe. In fact, I met one of the top NASA astronauts. I got to tell you, Sonny, I met one of the top astronauts on VCTV. I met Richard Branson's partner, who yesterday they talked about me going up as an astronaut on Virgin Galactic, which is crazy, right? But
Yeah.
maybe I'll be interested. I remember as a little kid thinking, oh, it'd be cool to be an anyhow, just amazing things. I met some of the wealthiest people in the world here. Literally, they come on VCTV and you don't realize it. I follow up with everybody, by the way. It's one of the things that I do is I have my chief of staff go out and I make follow-up calls because I like people, right? It's really interesting. And how can I help you? How can we work together, et cetera? So I love it. The platform of VCTV has done something incredible during this digital transformation. It's brought some humanity and some closeness that everybody needed, especially in the technology community around the world. These are difficult times. It's really hard to get together, and loneliness is not that interesting. So bringing people together to be able to share ideas, share feelings, and to be able to have a little fun is incredible. And doing business, I also believe, doing business is really cool, but doing it with people you like and people you trust and people you can have fun with is critically important. So, I love it. I think VCTV's done a great job and I participate. Yesterday I did 6 podcasts. I ended up on one with Irina Litchfield at night. I did my own show. I have a couple shows, and I guess I did 7. I did 4 VCTVs. So, but it's an incredible opportunity because you meet people, and this is the way business for the future is going to be conducted. This is the backbone of what's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
incredible job, Sonny. It's great to be here, and whatever I can do to help and support it. And I am writing a lot. I'm writing 3 to 5 articles a week right now, 2 books. So I'm active, trying to get the word out. So anything I can do to help you, please let me know. And anything I can do or you can do to help me would be appreciated. So if there's some area in AI I can help with, let me know. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Gary Fowler, Twitter. I write a lot, so you can check it out. I have a lot of videos out there of shows, so check it
Thank
out.
you.
And of course, through VCTV.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great points. about VCTV and again, relationship building. Gary, you obviously do business with people you like and you know and you trust. And this is the platform. Exactly. Founders, entrepreneurs who are looking to raise funds, you have to make the connection. You have to make the relationship. You have to bring in the trust before any investor even can look at your pitch deck. It's about relationship building. It's about making that connection and bringing that trust into the table. So please, what are you waiting for? Come to VCTV and pitch your solution. And there you go. You get to meet all these fabulous people on the panel. Similarly, other investors are looking to network and collaborate with like-minded investors. This is the platform for you. We are streaming live from YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. These are all our LATOKEN's official pages besides our website. So we are reaching out to a much more wider audience now than we did in 2020. So why are you waiting? Thank you so much, speakers. Thank you so much for your time, your insights. I'll be back tomorrow with another topic and another set of speakers. Till then,